Certainly do appreciate you taking the time to join us in the trenches with Dave Lapham, brought to you by First Star Logistics, as always, emanating from our outstanding studios, brand new, by the way, in the brand new building. Gotta love that. Gotta love our guest today, wide receiver coach, Troy Walters, very accomplished player at the collegiate level at Stanford. We talk about that. Played 8 years in the National Football League. We talk about that. Players respect, trust Coach Troy Walters, what he's got to say about playing that position. We talk about that. Talk about little nuances that are being installed in the Cincinnati Bengals offense by scheme, by formation, by concept, things they're taking a look at, things that looked pretty good last year. Expand on that, maybe eliminate something else. All that has been going on and continues here during the offseason. And then finally, and most importantly, we talk about his players, and he gives us a thumbnail sketch of every wide receiver that's going to be at training camp, including tight ends as receivers that will be lining up in the slot some. They'll detach themselves from the end of the line of scrimmage formationally and come out in the slot and be wide receivers and run routes there as well. A lot to listen to from wide receiver coach Troy Walters. What a great decision you made to join in the trenches with Dave Lapham, brought to you by First Star Logistics today. Coming to you from our brand new building, our brand new studio. We're all pumped up, and we're particularly pumped up about the guest we have, Bengals wide receiver coach Troy Walters. This guy, I mean, hell of a football player in his collegiate career at Stanford. Let's talk about the senior year in 1999. Consensus All-American. Fred Biletnikoff Award winner for the most outstanding wide receiver in the nation. Pac-10, now it's Pac-12, but back then Pac-10 Offensive Player of the Year. And all conference 3 years. I mean, every year you started and played at Stanford, you're all conference. I mean, heck of a collegiate career. You come to the National Football League, 5th round pick by the Vikings, have an 8-year career with a few teams in the National Football League. And man, now here you are coaching in the National Football League. And we talked about this before, Coach. First of all, welcome. Appreciate you carving your time.
Thanks for having me.
But I remember as a rookie, it's like, okay, well, you had some success at the collegiate level, but here you go to the next level and the big boys. And there are guys 10 years older than you, 12 years older than you that you're working against. And I leaned on my line coach big time. And one of the biggest reasons I did, he was a Pro Bowl center. The San Francisco 49ers snapping the ball to Y.A. Tittle before Y.A. Tittle went to the New York Giants. So I'm like, Bill Tiger Johnson, man, he must know what he speaks. And anything he told me, man, I was like a sponge. And I'm sure with, the playing career you've had on top of the coaching career, this year just finishing up, last year finished up your 4th year as the receiver coach for the Cincinnati Bengals. I mean, your players, they must be sponges, man. When you guys are in that classroom, are all the eyeballs on you, wide-eyed, Coach?
Yeah, I've got a great group of guys, and they're all in there. They all want to be great. They're all coachable, which is a coach's dream. That's all you want. You want guys that come in, no matter if they're the 1st-round pick or undrafted free agents. You want guys that come in that are coachable, that are open to learning. And as a player, I kind of, as a coach, I coach from a player's perspective. So, I give them input and I want to know what their goals are. And I want to know, how they were taught to run certain routes. And, if it makes sense and they were successful, then they can do it. But if it doesn't, and I feel like I have a better way to get things done, then we'll do it that way. But it's a lot of give and take. And I think they respect the fact that I played at the highest level. And so everything I do is I put myself in their shoes and make sure that what I'm saying and what I'm coaching and teaching is applicable. And it's not just chalkboard or it's not just chalkboard talk, but it's something that they can do, they can apply and be successful doing it.
The one thing, the biggest difference between Bill Tiger Johnson and you, Coach, is Tiger never jumped in there and did, pass sets with us and all that. You'll run routes with your guys. I mean, I watch you out there, Your footwork's as good as theirs, man. I mean, you can still get in and out of cuts and get some things done, man. You're still a really good route runner. I mean, that's got to be impressive.
Well, I tell them that, route running and playing a receiver position, it's all about habits. It's all about reps. And so I tell them I've done that. I've run routes. I've worked on my footwork, my brakes for so long that it's like riding a bike. It doesn't leave you. Now, I probably can't do it as fast as I used to, but I can still do it. I can still put the cleats on, go out there, run routes with them because it's a habit. It'll never leave you. And so I encourage them, man, when you're walking home. I tell the rookies, if you're walking to the Reds game, you're walking to get something to eat, work on your footwork, work on your routes, work on the steps of each route. If you're at home, work on different. I mean, you may look stupid. People may question what you're doing, but on Sundays, it'll show up and it'll allow you to be successful. And so as much as I can, I like to put the cleats on and move around with the guys and just have fun with them.
So going through OTAs, organized team activities, mandatory minicamp is right on the horizon here. What do you tell your group? What do you tell them? Try to make yourself that much better every single day. Don't waste a day. What's the big message from Coach Troy Walters to your players?
That every time we step on the field, it's an opportunity to get better. And that's what everyone that's here wants to do. They want to get better. They all have goals. They all have things that they want to accomplish individually. And so I tell them this is a great opportunity. This is probably as much individual time as we're going to get throughout the course of a season. We get 10 minutes of Indy during OTAs. Once the training camp season starts, it's 5 minutes. And so I tell them to use this as kind of spring training, get your techniques, get your fundamentals down, and just get better. And, without T and Jamar here, allows other guys to get more reps, to build that connection with Joe and the other quarterbacks, to take valuable reps so that they get better. And, I want to make sure that the guys leave here in next week feeling good about themselves, feeling good about their technique, having good sound technique where when they go wherever they go in the summer for the next month, they continue to build on that good technique. You don't want to build bad habits and then you go somewhere and you think you're working, but you're working on bad habits. And so it's a combination of on the field, making sure that they're improving their technique, and also, in the meeting rooms, in the classroom, learning the offense, learning the intricacies of the offense, the details of it, and just improving every day.
You mentioned Indy, and that's 10 minutes of Indy and 5 minutes as it gets closer to the season. Individual period, where they're one-on-one, they're working with you on all their skill sets and all that type of thing, which is so important. You mentioned a couple of players, Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. Now they haven't been, at the OTAs. I know you have a great line of communication with your players. There's trust, there's respect, there's everything both ways. Have you been communicating with those guys fairly regularly, Coach?
Yeah, I talk to them maybe once a week, probably no less than once every 2 weeks, checking in on them, seeing how they're doing, seeing where they're at. They like to travel, they like to move around, so I like to know exactly where they are, and
right.
And they're doing great. They're working out hard wherever they are, and trying to get in the best shape they can, and so that they can have a great season. And they're both competitors. They both want to be great. I'm challenging Jamar. He's made Pro Bowls the last 3 years. I'm challenging him to be an All-Pro. An All-Pro, they only take 3 All-Pros. Pro Bowlers, they take 7, 8, 9 of them. They have alternates. Not to take anything away from making a Pro Bowl, but the next step for him is being an All-Pro, being a top 3 guy that the media, the players, whoever votes on it, they vote him as an All-Pro. And T's yet to make a Pro Bowl. So, I challenge him, man, let this be a Pro Bowl season. Get your body right, get in shape. Let's play the full 17 games plus the playoffs, and have a great season. And so they've got great attitudes, and they're working hard. And I look forward, when they do get back here in Cincy and on the field, I look forward to working with them.
Now, interesting, looking out there on the field during the OTAs, Joe's not throwing to, Chase or T or Tyler Boyd. I mean, he's in Tennessee, so it looks different out there. But the silver lining, a lot of these guys are getting a ton of reps with Joe Burrow, and it's good for Joe and it's good for them. I mean, there's attrition, and God forbid, there's not much attrition. There's no attrition, but there can be attrition. There can be injury to a position group. So, getting some kind of rhythm, timing, confidence, trust is a big deal, isn't it?
It is. And I told the guys it's a great opportunity for them to get valuable reps, to build that chemistry with Joe and the other quarterbacks. And we're building depth. The better the number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 receivers can be, the more depth we have. And like you said, injuries happen. I mean, that's part of a season. That's part of football. And so we got to make sure that the guys that are behind the backup, so to speak, are ready if their number's called to step in and produce at the same level. We can't make excuses if a guy goes down. We got to keep playing. And throughout the last few years, we've had it happen. T's gone down times, and Trenton Irwin stepped up, or Andrei stepped up, or Trent Taylor a few years ago, he stepped up in a big game in the AFC Championship game. And so these guys understand that they're just, they're a snap away from being called upon. And the standard doesn't change. I told them today, the standard is to win the Super Bowl. And everyone has to work towards that standard, be accountable to that standard, make sure we're detailed to that standard. And as coaches, we're going to hold them to that standard. And so the young guys and the guys that maybe don't get as much reps, they're getting the reps, they're understanding that. And we're only going to be better because of it.
Guys like Jamar and T that have a good amount of time on task, with Joe Burrow. In your career, if you had to miss X amount of time, it comes back quickly, doesn't it? Like you said, it's almost like, it's a habit. It's a habit forming kind of thing. And you get in good habits and those come back quickly. It's not it probably won't take a whole heck of a lot of time for those guys to get back in rhythm and time with Joe Burrow, will it?
No, it's not going to take long. The biggest thing for a receiver is make sure you're at the right place at the right time. So with anybody, it's, if it's a 12-yard route, we got to make sure we're at 12-yard depth and we're working the details and the fundamentals. So as long as they're, and I know they are working on the fundamentals, the details of what we do, then when they get back, it's not going to take long. And those guys are special players. Joe's a special quarterback, and with special players, it doesn't take long.
You played with special quarterbacks during the course of your career. Joe Burrow, as you mentioned, is a special quarterback. Is there anybody that you played with that reminds you most of Joe Burrow, or are there traits from each guy that maybe Joe has a little bit of? Give us a little bit of a description in your mind of what Joe Burrow has that makes him unique, maybe similar to some of the unique quarterbacks you played with.
Yeah, number one, he's a competitor. He's all about ball. He's not into all the other stuff. He wants to win. And, he has a tremendous command in the huddle, tremendous command of the offense. I mean, he understands the ins and outs of this offense, the whys. He understands. He kind of reminds me of Peyton in the sense of he understands defenses. He understands what they're trying to do. It's hard to disguise. It's hard to trick Joe because he does a great job studying. He's in the offices all the time. He's in the meeting rooms. He watches film. He understands what the opponents are trying to do. And he's usually a step ahead of the defense. And that's what makes him special. And he reminds me of Peyton. Peyton's a Hall of Famer, one of the best that played the game. And Joe's has the capabilities of being one of the best in the game. He's smart, accurate, great anticipation. But really, it's the off the field. It's the intangibles that he has, the seriousness, the focus. I remember when I played with Peyton, this time it was spring ball, OTAs, and we did one-on-ones back then. And he was just as serious and intense then as he was in December before a play, or January before a playoff game when we were doing one-on-ones. And so, and that's how Joe is, whether it's a walkthrough, whether it's, May 28th or January 15th preparing for the AFC Championship, he's locked in, he's serious, and he brings out the best in those around him. And so love being around him and just seeing him grow, and the sky's the limit for him.
Once again, Tiger, comment that he'd have all the time. If you're going to do it right, damn it. It's like, it's a good point, Coach. Don't waste any time. Don't waste any reps. I mean, there's no question. That's certainly the way to approach it. When do you have like a list of maybe the top 3 or 4 route running wide receivers that you've seen, whether it's former player, current player, whatever the case may be?
Yeah, I go back through every year and kind of detail all the top receivers and watch their routes. Watch their routes and really critique how they get open, what techniques they use, what fundamentals. Justin Jefferson is an elite route runner. Devontae Adams is elite. Brandon Ayuk. There's so many. A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. There's so many.
Yeah.
But I try to watch them and just see if there's anything that they do technique-wise, in each route, what's kind of the common theme that allows a player to get open. And when I find it, then that's what we're going to drill. I find drills to work so that our guys can be just as successful in those type routes. And so there's a lot of great route runs around the league. I want our guys when fans or when the opponents put on the film, I think every receiver coach would want their unit to be considered, detailed, great route runners. And, that's the goal of really any receiver coach.
When I look at what you're doing out in the football field now with the OTAs, you got a lot of stuff in, man. I mean, it's like you better, if you're a young guy in particular, I mean, the older guys obviously are a step ahead in terms of understanding, the concepts and the schematics and all that sort of thing. But if you're a young guy, man, you better get your nose in the book because they're not waiting for you, And how many installations have you had with your young receivers? Because, man, it's impressive how quickly you get them up to speed with a lot of stuff you're putting in there because there's a pretty good volume of it, Coach.
Yeah, one of the first things I told him, even before the draft, when I talked to him, is I told him, if we draft you, that Monday we're starting on install. We're starting to get together one-on-one and learning this playbook because as a rookie, in order to make the team, in order to play and play, have a significant role, you got to know what you're doing.
Yep.
And so that Monday after the draft, I was Zooming with each of them individually, going through the playbook, going through the install. Then when they got here 10 days later, now we're going through the install with the rest of the receivers. And, I tell them all the time, this is probably the hardest time of the year. Now, and then even training camp, when you have everything in, we throw really everything at them in the first, 5-6 days. We have everything in. And so, Zach, pitch, they can call. The menu is so broad, right? So we're not sure what they're going to choose from.
Right.
But once you get in the season, now we have a specific game plan. We know the 30, 40 plays we're going to run or whatever. And so the guys, they know. But training camp now, in training camp, everything's in. You don't know when it's going to be called. And so you definitely have to be in the playbook. I tell the rookies all the time that, you shouldn't have anything else to do, right? Your playbook, studying, this is your job. This is what you need to know. This is what you got to do, is learn the playbook, understand it, so that you can go out in the field and execute.
So, Coach, how much of there's probably a little of both, but you're putting together a scheme or a concept by formation or whatever. How much of it is, okay, I'm going to have this receiver run this route because of the talent of that receiver, particular receiver running this route, or this route is the most successful route within the big picture schematic of all this? How much yin and yang is there between, okay, let's tailor this to the player's skill set, but not sacrificing, the overall concept we're trying to accomplish?
A little of both. You definitely want to put your players in the best situations to be successful. And then what I'll do is, as in the practice, whatever the script looks like, I'll make sure different guys get different reps. There might be a guy, Andrei, may not, the first 2 or 3 plays, he may be backside. I know the ball's not coming to him. And so maybe play 3 or 4, I put him at Z so that he can get a ball. He can be the primary receiver and see how he reacts, or put him in the slot to see how he reacts. Because we want guys in this offense to to learn all positions, to know concepts so we can move them around so they're not one-dimensional, so we have flexibility as a staff. And that's another challenging part is for young guys, just to learn the entire offense, the entire concept, and not just one position. And the rookies are doing a good job, and really we got guys in that room that are able to do that. So it's easy for me.
So with Tyler Boyd, moving on to Tennessee, the slot receiver position, he took the preponderance of snaps there for a number of years for the Cincinnati Bengals. Do you think that'll be a committee type thing, or do you think, it'll be one guy? And if it is one guy, is it something that Burton as a rookie can understand and be able to execute? Because, man, there's so much to deal with as a slot receiver. On the outside, you have a lot less going on. In the inside, man, there's a lot of traffic, a lot of activity going on. I mean, how do you is it just try everybody, see how each and every guy looks, or what are you thinking?
Yeah, with TB, we knew what we had in the slot. He played most of the game, most of the reps, and so not having him back is a big loss, but also a big opportunity for other guys. And we'll have to see. I think it's going to be more of a committee. We even got Mike Gesicki who can play inside. Tanner Hudson showed he could play inside, and then with Trenton Irwin, Charlie Jones, we drafted Jermaine Burton. Jamar Chase, we need to move him around so he'll find time inside. So it'll be a lot of guys playing inside. Like I said, putting guys in there to maximize their strength and their abilities. But it's not going to be just probably one guy taking all the reps like Tyler Boyd did. It'll be probably a handful of guys and moving guys around to maximize their talent.
I know you guys do a great job, and the continuity of the coaching staff is really, I think, beneficial to this practice that goes on. Is taking the playbook, and didn't really like the way that looked last year. Maybe we'll minimize that, but this looked really good. We'll add to this, and you guys do a nice job of obviously let's move priorities here in some of these plays, whatever the case may be. Is that a continual process? Have you done some of that, and then after the mini camp and mandatory mini camps and the OTAs and all that, do it again before you go to training camp? How does that all evolve?
Now, it usually works right after the season. We did a thorough self-scout evaluation of ourselves over the past few years, and we've changed some things up. I think with pitch, Zach has kind of been hands off and allowed pitch to kind of be in command of this offense, and he's brought in some new ideas. Justin Riscotti, who we brought in from Minnesota, he brings a wealth of knowledge and understanding from his time in Denver and in Minnesota. As an O-line guy, as a tight end guy, marrying up the passes and the runs, and so definitely will see some new wrinkles in this offense. We're definitely not going to go away from what's allowed us to be successful. But we definitely go, self-scout, see what we didn't do well, see what we can do better. And then right now it's pretty much in. And so, we're done next week. We'll get away as a staff, as coaches get away for a little downtime. And then when we come back, we're ready to roll. So the major adjustments are done. And now it's just about fine tuning and getting the guys ready to go.
You guys did such a masterful job of Joe goes down and then Jake Browning, takes over the reins, and you guys geared things toward the skill set of Jake Browning. But boy, some of the stuff, it all started with getting the running game going, but the play action stuff you had off your running game and some of the stuff you did was really, really good football, fun stuff to watch, and it's like, man, I wondered, shoot, why can't we do this with Joe, do this with Joe and the guys. We got to get that running game going again like we did. But I mean, sometimes out of a situation that you think, oh man, this is horrible, sometimes some good things come out of it. I mean, is that something that might have come out of it a little bit?
Yeah, we definitely found some things that we can do when Joe gets back and when he's healthy, which he is now. And like I said, with the addition of some old linemen and Justin coming in, we can, add some new fresh ideas, so to speak, and and just do some different things that maybe teams haven't seen and that have been successful around the league that we hadn't done yet. And anything we can do to get better, to add to this scheme and to improve and to allow us to win a Super Bowl. We don't have any egos on this staff. And so we're all in it together. We all want the best. And so whatever that is, we're going to find it. We're going to do it. And we're going to be successful.
All right, Coach, you've had your hands on a lot of these guys here for the past few days during the course of the past few weeks. And it's gonna end with the mandatory mini camp. Then you guys all get some time off and get ready for training camp, and on you go. So let's talk about your guys. Obviously, Jamar and T haven't been participating to this point in time, but based on what they've done for you, what's the biggest thing you're looking for out of those two guys to take their game to the next level in 2024?
Just continue to be consistent, continue to do things at a high level. I think both of them know the weaknesses, things that they can improve upon, and that's what they're doing now. Obviously with T, it's staying healthy, and if he can play a 17 game plus a playoff season, then he's going to be one of the top 10 receivers in the league. And so it's just working on the little things, working on things that the weaknesses to make those guys better, and just for them to compete at a high level on the field, and then off the field, they got to be the leaders of the group. Without Tyler Boyd, they're really the veterans of the receiver room, and so they've got to be a little more vocal, and they've got to set the culture, set the tone for the young guys, and show them what it takes and to be successful. I know they're going to do that, and I'm expecting a big year from both of them.
Let's go numerically here, Coach. Shedrick Jackson, what's he done for you?
Yeah, he's a guy that can run, athletic. He's gotten better. He was an undrafted free agent last year, didn't have great stats at Auburn, but came in, learned the offense, worked his tail off, did a great job with Darren on special teams, got elevated for 3 games. And he's gotten better as a route runner, good hands. He's one that I think you can rely on him. And he's one of those guys, receivers that can play receiver, but also really contribute on special teams.
And Charlie Jones, not only, like you said, receiver, but man, outstanding return guy. And that was a big part of your game, obviously. You're outstanding return guy. I mean, he's lucky to have a guy like you as a receiver coach with your background as a punt returner as well. How's Charlie coming along?
Yeah, he's doing a good job. As you know, he had a good rookie year as a returner.
Yep.
Definitely working on that aspect of the game, of his game as well, to try to be even more explosive. And then, just trying to become a better route runner. Like I said, we're moving him around just to get a better feel of, where he can play, what he can do. And so he has flexibility to play some outside, play in the slot, and he's gotten better this offseason.
Yeah, I mean, he takes that return ability to yards after catch. I mean, it's get him out there in space with the football. Yes, sir. Trenton Irwin, Pros Pro. Tell us about him.
Pros Pro, Mr. Reliable. He's come in, he's left off. He's playing the same as he did at the end of the season. Always in shape, can run for days, reliable. I think Joe would attest to just his dependability. Joe knows where he's going to be with every route. He understands the nuances of route running, understands the scheme and the offense, and so he's always in the right place at the right time. And he's shown the past few years that when his number's called, he's always delivered and made plays. So glad to have him back.
Cole Burgess out of Cortland. Cortland.
So he was an undrafted free agent from Cortland, same school that Pitch went to, won a national championship this year. So he's a winner. Came in, when you make that jump from these Division III to the NFL, there's going to be adjustments, which there is, but he's doing a great job in the playbook, great job of soaking up all the coaching. He's like a sponge, soaking up all the coaching and getting out on the field early, staying late, just trying to improve his craft. So very pleased with how he's progressing.
Kwamie Lassiter II.
Yeah, Kwamie kind of fits with Trenton Irwin, just dependable, can play multiple positions, understands the offense, can contribute on special teams, great attitude, and he's doing a good job and can play multiple positions.
Kendric Pryor.
Yeah, Kendric, we're glad to have him back. You know, he was an undrafted free agent 2 years ago. Got picked up. We cut him in the last cut. Got picked up by Jacksonville, so he was on their 53-man roster as a rookie. And then last year we were able to pick him up halfway through the season, and he's doing a good job. He's making plays out there. He's explosive, has strong hands, and I think he just keeps getting better and better. So he's going to be a force to reckon with on this team.
And then you mentioned Andrei Iosivas. Give us an update on him.
Yeah, you could tell he's put in the work this offseason. He came back and he's faster, quicker, stronger. His short area quickness has improved. He's running through the catch. I mean, he's standing out as one of the top guys, and love his trajectory. He keeps getting better. You know, he came from Princeton. We thought it was going to be a year of development, of getting used to it, and he said no, and he's taken off and done a tremendous job, and he keeps getting better, and he's going to be definitely in a rotation, if not fighting for a starting job.
Tell you, physically, just looking at him when he came walking out in the field, I'm like, dude's been in the weight room now. He's put on some really good weight. I mean, he's a strong kid anyway. I mean, so athletic. What he did in track and field of, so many events and handled strength events and jumping events and running events. I mean, he's a skilled athlete. But man, I'm thinking, look at the chest on the dude, the chest, shoulders, arms. I mean, and his legs. He's hit the weight room pretty darn hard. I was impressed.
Yeah, and he's playing with great confidence too. You know, a year in this system, he understands it, so he's playing with great confidence. He's not thinking. He's going out there and utilizing his athletic abilities because he knows what to do.
Right.
So you can see that.
So the only draft pick, the 80th pick, I think it was in the third round, Jermaine Burton. What's he looking like to you, Coach?
He's looking good. He's done a good job. You know, for any rookie, we're throwing a lot at him. So there's going to be some ups and downs, and he's a guy that, kind of wears his emotions on his sleeves, and he wants to be perfect and make plays. And there's times when, he's messed up and he gets frustrated with himself because he wants to be great, and you just got to go over there and pat him on the back and let him know, what he did wrong, and this is how we do it, and tell him to keep his head up because he wants to be great. He wants to be special. He wants to be impactful. And so, he's doing a good job in the meeting room, around the building. And so I just look forward for him to continue to grow and make that jump from, OTAs, have a great summer. And then when he comes back for training camp, to take that jump where now when we get ready for the season, he's ready to go and help this team be successful.
TJ Hushmanzada mentored him, a little bit with that route running. And to me, it looks like, I've never run a route in my life, but to me, watching a lot of routes run over the years, looks like he, accelerate, decelerate, change speeds in and out of cuts different. Looks like he's got a little bit of diversity to his route running.
Yeah, he does. He does. Has great acceleration, burst, straight line speed, strong hands. It makes it look easy. There's times when I'm telling him, screaming to run, because it doesn't look like he's running, but he is. He's covering ground. He's smooth. He catches everything that's thrown to him. And so it's really just mastering the details of the playbook, how Joe wants it, how the receivers, the details of the routes. And then once he has that down, he'll be able to play even faster than he is now. And like I said, when the ball's thrown, when the ball's in his area, he's going to make a play.
Tre Mosley.
Yeah, we got him, undrafted free agent from Michigan State. He's doing a good job. Like I said, all the rookies, we throw a lot at him.
Right.
And so he's here early, stays late, on the field early, last one off, working on his details, his fundamentals. He has strong hands, like you'll see training camp comes around when it's open and preseason, anything thrown his way, he's probably going to make the catch. And so he's done a great job, and I look forward for him to just continue to grow.
And like you mentioned, Hudson, Gesicki, I mean, these tight ends that are lining up in the slot, give us an idea of, how much coaching do you do with respect to their route running and things you're looking for if they're out there in the slot? Is it like a co-coaching deal, or does one take precedent over the other in terms of, coaching them up on the routes? How does that work?
No, James does a great job. James Casey, our tight end coach, he does a great job with those guys. You know, he played the position.
Sure.
So he understands the nuances of route running as well as the, blocking in the trenches. And so he does a great job of coaching. If he has any questions or, anything about something, he'll come in my office and tell me. But those guys are tremendous route runners, understand the nuance at the top of the route, and they're explosive, provide a wide, long catch radius for Joe and the other quarterbacks. And so they're definitely going to be matchup. They're going to be matchup problems for a lot of teams going forward, and they're doing a great job.
Well, Coach, I can't thank you enough for taking all the time you've taken with us today. I mean, I'm really excited about how the offense is going to look. I mean, it's you got talent. The offensive line coach, I mean, are you kidding me? If you're not 6'8", 350 plus, don't bother coming, man. If you're an offensive tackle, it's the Cincinnati skyline. I mean, and 4 of the potential starting 5 offensive linemen all are in Super Bowl winning teams and Pro Bowlers. I mean, it's like unbelievable. Got a lot going on, a lot of excitement, and man, I'm pumped up to see it. Can't wait for training camp to start.
Yeah, we are too. Want to finish this spring, these OTAs off the right way next week, and then have a great summer, and then come back and have a great camp. And like I said, the standard is the Super Bowl, and so we got to do it day by day. But that's the goal, that's the standard, and we have the team, the staff, everything in place to accomplish that goal.
Well, you deserve a little bit of time, Coach. You and the family, you got any big plans, or what's happening with?
Yeah, we're gonna get away. We're gonna fly to Texas, visit my parents.
There you go.
We're gonna get to the Dominican Republic, take the kids to the beach. My wife's from Seattle, so try to get out there for a little bit. So we're gonna be moving around a little bit, and
yeah,
I told her I need at least a week of downtime because when you got 4 kids, that traveling, man, you get worn out by traveling. So I need a little downtime here in Cincinnati, but I'm looking forward to spending time with the family, relaxing, and then getting my mind right for a great 2024.
Awesome. You got some freaking flyer miles getting racked up there, Coach. Well earned and well deserved, my man. Really appreciate you.
Appreciate you having me.
Dave Lapham here, and every day I am grateful for my experience to have played professional football. As a player, I realized self-motivation, leadership, and appreciating your teammates are key. At First Star Logistics, you can use those same attributes to create the life you want for you and your family. Build your future by working hard like I did. You'll see results both on and off the field. Call First Star Logistics today and be part of our winning team.
Opportunity knocking.